we're going to do when we're thinking about this text set is we're going to look at how to create a mind map. Remember earlier when we were learning about tornadoes and hurricanes, we were making a mind map because we were reading lots and lots and lots of information, and we wanted to just keep adding to the information that we learned. Now, one of the great things about that strategy is that it helps you to identify main ideas. Okay, so everybody has their text set in front of them, and we know that we're being asked to explain water conservation. We know that we're being asked to explain water conservation. So water conservation is going to be in the middle of our mind map. And guys, making a mind map is an extra step, but until you can synthesize information across texts in your head without creating a mind map, it's a necessary step. It's a necessary step. Now, 4th grade standards say that you can synthesize information across several texts, but some of you are not quite there yet. And so this is a good what we call scaffold or support that will help you to synthesize information and notice connections. Okay, so we are being asked to write an essay in which we are going to explain what water conservation is. Okay, we're going to explain it. If you turn to the directions, it says the passages you read were about water conservation. Write an informative essay in which you explain water conservation. So when we're thinking about a topic like this, and we're thinking about water conservation, and we need to tell people the things that we need to tell people, information, we want to think about the things like who, what, when, where, how, why. Those types of questions. Information. Okay, so we want to think about why. Why do we need water conservation? What are some of the reasons? How? How do we conserve water? What are some of the ways that we can do that? Okay, so as we're reading the text set, and please read with me, we're going to try to make some connections across the text and within the text. And we're going to try to identify what they're talking about. Okay, source 1 is titled, We Need More Water. West Palm Beach, Florida. There's a drought in Georgia. Florida doesn't have enough water for its growing population. In upstate New York, reservoir levels have dropped to record lows. In the west, the Sierra Nevada snowpack, which provides most of California's drinking water, is melting faster each year. The nation is facing a water shortage. The government says that it is a problem that may confront as many as 36 states in the next 5 years. Okay, thinking about what you know about nonfiction reading, what part of this article did we just read? What part of it? The introduction, Sophia. So, what is the purpose of the introduction? Is to make you know why this topic is important to you. All right, so let's read on. Several factors are responsible for the decreased supply of water. Okay, now as a writer, you know, right, that first sentence in the paragraph is the main idea sentence, right? Okay, so what are they going to talk about? They're going to talk about a decreased supply of water. So that's one of the things they're going to talk about. The Earth's rising temperatures are causing water evaporation, making droughts more common. So we have water evaporation leading to droughts. In addition, population growth is creating more demand for water. Okay, so we have a decreased supply of water, and now we have an increased demand for water. Most people have not conserved water to make up for the increased need. The U.S. used more than 148 trillion gallons of water in 2000. So can you see how we're paying close attention not only to some main ideas that are being talked about here, but also to the details that are being used to support them? Because ultimately, when we go to choose our main ideas, we're going to want to choose the main ideas that have the most support. We want to have plenty of evidence in order to supply it. This includes water used for homes and businesses. It also includes water used for agriculture and manufacturing purposes. So we have lots of reasons. We have homes, businesses, agriculture. All of these are demanding water. They need water in order to survive. In all, this is nearly 500,000 gallons per person per year. That's a lot of water. Sprawling cities and thoughtless water waste add to the demands on the water supply. So we have a decreased supply of water, we have an increased demand. Okay, that results in the shortage. Florida is a place where the water supply is threatened. Okay, so we're going to talk about Florida. Florida is one of the places where the water is threatened. Now guys, remember, we talked about taking some shortcuts here, and we can put paragraph 3 right here because that's the paragraph in our text set that's going to talk about this. That way we don't have to write down a whole bunch of information and details over and over and over again. It says, 100 years ago, the state's biggest problem was too much water in the form of swamps. Years later, dams and other systems have redirected the water away from the land. This has enabled Floridians to turn swamps into cities. Now, much of the landscape has been paved over. In some places, water can no longer get through the ground to refill the natural underground water supply. As a result, the state faces the possibility of floods every time it rains. The state avoids floods by flushing the extra water into the Atlantic Ocean. Florida also dumps hundreds of billions of gallons of treated wastewater into the ocean through pipes. This water might have been used for irrigation. Remember the other day we talked about what is irrigation? It is when you have some kind of a sprinkler system or a canal system in which you provide water for agriculture, for homes, for businesses. The kind of water that waters the lawn. Okay, that waters the lawn. At the same time, Florida's population